Welcome to Difficult Conversations with Glen and Grace. So let's dive straight into this fiery debate. Should billionaires even exist?
Yeah, it's a real bombshell topic, right? What strikes you most about this debate?
What really hits me is the stark comparison from 2024, where the top 10 richest people owned more wealth than the bottom 3 billion combined.
Yep.
That's not just a figure, it's a wake-up call.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, if that's true, can such vast inequality coexist with the idea of fairness in a democratic society?
Right, and you see, some argue these people, these billionaires, built something, created jobs, earned it. But then there's this counterpoint. Can you really earn $1 billion without exploiting workers or gaming the system?
It's like comparing a meticulously crafted masterpiece with, a structure built on shaky foundations.
Exactly. It's like admiring a skyscraper while ignoring the underpaid laborers who laid its bricks. Critics bring up, for instance, the issue of tax avoidance. How did we end up with billionaires paying, in some cases, zero federal income tax when, say, a school teacher is left paying a significant chunk of their income?
Yeah, that's a nasty twist. And that really raises the question, is success or extreme wealth achieved legitimately, or is it more about, playing the system?
Exactly. And the critics are not just nitpicking on taxes. They're asking if vast wealth concentrated in a few hands is even compatible with democracy. I mean, think about it. Can a democracy thrive when one person can reshape cities and influence elections almost at will?
Right, it seems like a dangerous imbalance. So it makes you reflect on how power follows money. Even if somebody brings innovation to the table, isn't it problematic if that success is underpinned by, undemocratic practices?
Precisely, and let's not brush over the point on philanthropy. Some say, look at Bill Gates, for instance, pouring millions into causes. But then the deeper issue is, why should we let one unelected individual decide how to allocate resources that could ideally be managed by democratic institutions?
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? And while the philanthropic angle sounds noble, it doesn't really fix the systemic imbalance, does it?
Exactly. It's like having a Band-Aid on a wound that clearly needs stitches. You might be saving lives here and there, but you're not addressing the underlying inequality and lack of accountability.
And there's that critical voice saying, tax them more, but don't demonize success. I get that perspective as well. Success is, after all, part of our culture. But how do we balance celebrating entrepreneurship with protecting the collective good?
Yep, right. It's a delicate balance. For some, billionaires symbolize innovation. Think about Steve Jobs or Oprah, who built empires from scratch. But the sustainability of that kind of success is questionable when it's built on inequality, exploitation, or even undue influence on politics.
I see what you mean. But isn't it a bit harsh to lump all success under one dramatic label? Some of these innovators did create a lot of value, not just for themselves, but for society.
True, and I appreciate that nuance. However, the challenge lies in the fact that economic success often benefits from a system that's, let's say, rigged in favor of those with initial advantages. And it begs the question, can we incentivize innovation without concentrating power in ways that undermine democratic principles?
That's a valid critique indeed. It's like, on one hand, we want the entrepreneurial spirit to thrive, but on the other, we risk creating a society where a handful of people essentially hold all the cards.
Exactly. It's a bit of a tug-of-war between individual success and collective well-being. And the text challenges us to think, what kind of world do we really want? Is it one where unlimited wealth is possible, even if millions are left wanting in basic needs?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And then there's that underlying idea of power. Wealth isn't just money. It transforms into power that can shape public policies, media, even cultural narratives. That kind of power in the hands of a few can really disrupt the democratic fabric.
Exactly, and history gives plenty of examples of how concentrated power leads to societal instability or even
Right,
collapse.
it's almost like a domino effect.
It is, absolutely. And when people see that, one could lose hope. They might start believing that no matter how hard they work, the ladder to success is, well, just out of reach.
And that's a dangerous mindset. as it erodes trust and fuels cynicism. It, just saps the very optimism needed for a healthy society.
Now, some would say that moderating billionaire wealth through more taxes or regulations could be a solution, but others argue that such moves might stifle innovation. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's a tricky balance. I actually think that the debate should not be about curbing innovation, but about ensuring that the benefits of innovation are shared more equitably.
Right, and that's where the concept of a more egalitarian society comes in, one where the system itself is designed not just to reward success, but to uplift everyone.
Absolutely, more like a collective advancement.
And isn't that sort of the moral and democratic ideal? That prosperity isn't just kept in a vault by a few, but circulated and shared for the broader benefit.
But then, as a counterpoint, what about the argument that individuals who take risks and create something new deserve to reap the rewards? Isn't that, at its core, a celebration of human ingenuity?
That's an important point. And I do agree that entrepreneurship and risk-taking are vital for progress. Yet when the system rewards these very actions with power that outweighs democratic principles, the scales tip too far.
Yeah. It's like arguing over whether a fire extinguisher should, be available to all, even if only one person lit the fire in the first place.
Great analogy. It's like celebrating the spark while ignoring the risk of an uncontrollable blaze. The text really pushes us to rethink whether it's sustainable to let such disparities persist.
That's a strong point indeed. And then there's that poignant moment in the text asking us, do we want a world where prosperity is hoarded by a few, or do we want it evenly spread out? It brings an ethical dimension to the economic debate.
Exactly. It's not just about economics. It's about values and what kind of society we envision. Do we want the kind of world where extreme wealth leads to extreme power with all its accompanying risks?
Right. It's a societal trade-off.
Yes, and that leads us to the final, almost provocative question. If you truly believe in a better, fairer world, shouldn't you be voicing your opinion? Staying silent might just make you complicit in perpetuating the status quo.
That's a call to action, isn't it? I mean, whether you support billionaires outright or find them problematic, the conversation compels each one of us to engage with a wider question about fairness and our democratic ideals.
Right, absolutely. And even if you admire the giants for their innovative drives, we have to question, at what cost is that innovation?
It's a valid concern, no doubt. Plus, the contrast between public service workers, like nurses and teachers, and billionaires and tax contributions speaks volumes about how uneven the system truly is.
Exactly. It's like comparing a marathon runner to someone who's taken a helicopter ride to the finish line. The underlying support systems are vastly different.
Yeah, that's an interesting analogy.
And when you think about it, the debate isn't black and white. It challenges us to rethink our values. Are we comfortable with a society where a tiny elite decides the fate of so many? Or do we demand a system that's more democratic and equitable?
That's the crux of the matter. We need to keep asking these questions, continuously probing the balance between individual success and collective responsibility.
Absolutely. And this conversation, this debate, encourages us to be vocal about shaping a future where prosperity doesn't come at the expense of our democracy.
Yep, exactly. It really is a call for thoughtful engagement. And even if answers aren't clear-cut, merely engaging with these questions is crucial for a vibrant society.
Well said. And so if you believe in a better, fairer world, maybe it's time to have these difficult conversations, challenge the norms, and push for change.
Right on, absolutely. I guess the takeaway is that the debate over billionaires isn't about hating success. It's about questioning, in an honest way, what success should look like in a just society.
Exactly. It's an invitation to think critically about our values, our systems, and the kind of future we want to build. Thanks for this deep dive. It's been truly enlightening.
Yep, definitely.